The Civil War completely upended society. Not only were African Americans freed from slavery, but many different groups saw this upheaval as a chance to successfully pursue social equality and upset the prevailing social norms. One of these reformers with vision was Elizabeth Cady Stanton. Stanton was one of the most dedicated activists pioneering equality for women in the United States before the Civil War. She organized the 1848 Seneca Falls Convention, the first women's rights gathering in the nation, while drafting the Declaration of Sentiments, which demanded political and social rights for women. During the Civil War, she formed the Women's Loyal National League, which mobilized women to fight for the abolition of slavery, which is how she met her close friend and associate, Susan B. Anthony. Together, they showed that women had power even though they couldn't vote. On May 10, 1866, the 11th National Women's Rights Convention was held. Stanton presided over it, and it was here that women's rights leaders united with abolitionists to form the American Equal Rights Association, or AERA. Prominent members of this committee include Susan B. Anthony, Elizabeth Cady, Frederick Douglass, and Lucy Stone. Together, they championed universal suffrage, the right to vote regardless of sex. Soon after the formation of the organization, however, tensions swelled about whether they should first secure the vote for black men or pursue women's suffrage simultaneously, which was a much more radical and divisive view. Proponents of prioritizing black male vote were vocal. Lucy Stone is reported to have said, Negro suffrage, being a paramount question, would have to be settled before women's suffrage could receive the attention it deserved. Frederick Douglass supported prioritizing the black vote, but is also recorded to have said, the race to which I belong have not generally taken the right ground on this question, the question being women's suffrage. He was described as a radical women's suffrage man, meaning he supported women's suffrage too. He just saw black male suffrage as a more immediate necessity. It was a matter of life and death, given the rampant killings of black people by KKK and other organized racist groups. Stanton and Anthony felt betrayed when told to wait their turn. They refused to accept rights for black men if women's rights were excluded. Anthony is quoted to have said, I will cut off this right arm of mine before I will ever work for or demand the ballot for the Negro and not the woman. The passage of the 14th Amendment in 1868 exacerbated this divide, as it made colored people citizens but also added the word male to the Constitution for the first time. When the 15th Amendment was passed, allowing black men but not women the right to vote, AERA dissolved into two groups. Outraged, Stanton and Anthony led the formation of the National Women's Suffrage Association, opposing these amendments for failing to include women. Meanwhile, others, like Lucy Stone, accepted the amendments as progress for black civil rights and founded the American Women's Suffrage Association. From this point on, the NWSA pioneered the New Departure strategy, arguing that the 14th and 15th Amendments already granted women the right to vote as citizens. Women attempted to register and cast ballots, including Susan B. Anthony's bold but illegal vote in 1872. However, in 1875, things changed. Virginia Minor attempted to register to vote in Missouri and was denied. Due to her denial, she sued the registrar, Reese Happersett, claiming that the 14th Amendment guaranteed her right to vote as a citizen. The case reached the U.S. Supreme Court, which in 1875 unanimously ruled against Minor, saying that women were citizens of the United States, but that did not guarantee them any right to vote. Following this defeat by Stanton, frustration and bitterness took hold. Stanton and Anthony increasingly employed racist rhetoric, arguing that educated white women deserved the vote before black men, whom they disparaged as unfit voters, describing them as brutalized, degraded manhood. They even allied themselves with white supremacist groups who advanced white women's suffrage, a strategy that deeply fractured earlier alliances with black activists and coalitions and tainted the feminist movement. Ultimately, in 1890, recognizing the need for unity, the NWSA reunited with its rival, the American Women's Suffrage Association, which had been more inclusive and supportive of the 15th Amendment, right, progress for black men. This merger formed the National American Women's Suffrage Association, uniting women's suffrage movement under a common banner. They would go on in a campaign to achieve the 19th Amendment in 1920, granting women the right to vote.